What do you guys see the black church going the next 3 to 5 years?
As he was and I said real quickly, if he was more optimistic, I don't know. I feel I'm scared for the black church because we're losing generations because we won't get out of those traditions.
Yeah.
So our kids are not looking at the black
But
church.
Trey,
as a
what do you
place.
say to like the latest Barna research shows that black church is growing
That's
on
exactly
all
right.
fronts? I mean, I'm asking,
Yeah, I don't
like,
believe
what do you say to that?
being a communication major, numbers don't lie. However, they don't reflect real either. So, although, for instance, think about it, numbers will go up if you're looking at your political atmosphere and people feeling hopeless. I'm going to go to church. What 9/11 showed
Gotcha.
you that when people feel hopeless, they run to church.
Right.
So, what happens when they don't feel like church is not doing anything because the church is not ready for the intake? That's what I'm looking at, the intake.
Another
Gotcha.
thing to consider, so because we track stats, of course, we have to understand who are shaping the stats.
Right.
What are the metrics that they're utilizing? So what I've seen quite commonly is that in mainstream evangelicalism, they're tracking numbers according to their standards.
Yeah.
Right. Well, at the exact same time that you're celebrating church growth in China and considering reshaping of a contextual theology, you have black churches that don't fit within the confines of mainstream evangelicalism. They're actually more charismatic that are blowing up,
Yeah.
drawing people like crazy. But this group that does the survey would disqualify this group based on some hypocritical theology. You see what I'm saying? And that's my struggle. So when I look at this group over here that in these circles wouldn't be considered as right, they're doing it. They're doing it, with a consciousness of morality that's even greater than this hypocrisy. You see what I'm saying? And so you watch this, like you have guys that started churches 10 years ago, and they've planted 20, 30 churches across the United States within 10 years, and all of them 1,000 plus.
Wow.
So
I think we have to look at the fruit. If it's working, we ought to see the fruit of transformation.
come on, somebody.
And we're seeing the breakdown. I'm not seeing, this is my vantage point, so I'm not all over the world.
Right.
But what I'm seeing is cause for concern. I'm not seeing the young folk, the Gen Z, and we work with youth and we have millennials in our church and we have conversations with them. And I'm hopeful from the standpoint that I know God can do anything but fail. But based on those conversations that we're having and what I'm seeing in their relationships, because when you have the breakdown of the family, everything else breaks down.
Yep.
Right.
That's the church.
When the man doesn't know how to be the man, the woman doesn't know how to be a woman, and you just see all of it. God has to have order to build.
That's real.
Wow.
When the foundation is all disruptive, you're not going to have what God wants. And sometimes God will let things fall apart so that we can reach out, like you said, and go back and say, I need to turn back. I'm down. I got to turn back up.
Right.
This is true.
Mac, I put you on the spot here. Next to last question. Who are the top 2 or 3 influential people that you would say, or maybe your friends would say, that are speaking in the black culture today? Who would those 2, 3 people be? I mean, is it Jay-Z? Is it Kanye? Like, who are those people who are grabbing your friends, maybe yourself, attention to where culture is today?
I say first, you said it, Jay-Z. People see everything he doing for the hip hop community. Also, how it's just football, NFL, just about him to have a whole different dilemma of the NFL. So I think Jay-Z's number one, and also Michelle Obama, because we see when her book released,
One of the best top-selling books.
everyone
in
I know
2019.
went to go buy the book, from my male friends, female friends, everybody. So I feel like those 2 are the most influential.
Those people.
community.
All
That's
right.
good stuff.
Hip-hop, where's it at in our culture today?
Hip hop,
And Generation Z still honor it still.
as much as you like mumble rap and all that stuff,
Yeah.
they have their version. I think music plays a pivotal role in black
Absolutely.
culture, and I think it goes way back to some roots that we probably aren't always aware and kind of somewhat aware. And to say it real quickly, you got to use music. That's how I learned most of my scriptures as a kid. My mom would put them to a beat, and my mom she would rhythm them out. Romans 8:28. I learned from her putting it to a beat. Kids remember music faster than they remember just, hey, read this and quote it. And put it in
Interesting.
music.
That's real.
Last question. Fill in the blank here. Black church is fill in the blank. Someone.
Incredible.
Anyone.
Incredible.
All right. Black church is
I still say it's a prophetic voice.
Hallelujah.
prophetic, even in
Hallelujah.
2019.
Absolutely. Even more so.
Going into the new decade. Kim, you're still prophetic voice. So interesting. Either one of you two?
I'm trying
Black
to
church is
I want to say hopeful, but yeah,
hopeful.
I
All
just-
right. Mac?
I say explosiveness. Reason why I say that because me look outside looking in, I see a lot of good things in the black church. I watch T.D. Jakes every morning. I read all his books, and I feel like that's what God's my heart. Like no matter what I'm going through, I know the book called Crushing. I feel like when you are crushed, that's when you do reach God the most, and you gotta fight hard as you can to get off the ground. So I feel like explosiveness for black church. That's what I feel.
And we'll end it there. Man, good work.
That's good.
Thank you guys.
Y'all
I appreciate
awesome.
your
That's
time.
good.
y'all
I mean, it's been
You
good.
guys are awesome.
Thank
some
you.
of your stuff for my sermon.